Some of your biggest systemic money leaks are culturally normalized, socially integrated, and chemically reinforced. Today I want to run the definitive 15-point audit on the worst cash drainers, complete with data points and how much money you could be saving on an annualized basis. Let's get to it. Hello fellow wealth seekers! Welcome back to the lab. I want to start right away with cluster number 1, the daily delusions. In here we're talking tiny measurable steps that are so embedded in our life that we almost don't even realize. This is an ultimate saver that could rack up to 3.5k a year. First cluster is actually made of 5 bullet points. Number 1, your coffee delight. That is €5 per outing for a coffee and a pastry, racking up to over 1k a year. Then we have the thermal delusion, living with that 1 or 2 more degrees in your home. I mean, it's very personal, but if you were to decrease that temperature in the heating, particularly in Central and Northern Europe, you would be saving 300 to 400 a year. Then we have the bottled water illusion. Why not drinking tap water or installing a filter that would be absorbed in terms of installation costs within a few months? Then we have premium brands that maybe you go for groceries at a recognized or famous brand that you've been growing up with without realizing that some other, perhaps own label brand from the supermarket itself would be charging 40% less. Lastly, we have the delivery fees. Whenever you order a takeout, the premium is going to be at least 40% just to take it to your home. I am personally against that because, I love going out, but I also love cooking for myself. So basically takeout goes against a couple of principles that I live by. Then there's cluster 2, which is more about the infrastructure. Here we're talking car, subscriptions that are unused, and such things. The car itself, think about it, is the number 1 drainer in everybody's life. Without even accounting for depreciation or leasing, just gas, bills, and taxes, these are hundreds a month, up to 2.5k a year. Particularly now with gas prices increasing constantly. Then we have the subscriptions. In here I would include the one that you do not pay attention to. Let's say you have a convenient gym abonnement that only gets used once or twice a week. Unless you are in the top percentile of users that really goes there and uses all their amenities every single day, this is most likely an overbuy, and you're better off training at home with a free platform such as YouTube and a couple of dumbbells for 10-15 euros. Then we have the legacy banking fees, another most hated of mine. If you were to change to a neo bank or a new broker, think Revolut, N24, Scalable, all of those monthly tiny fees would disappear. And this is also 100 within, plus than 100 within a time frame of a year. Last but not least, utility costs that are self-renewing. Think about all the times where you see advertising that is, a bit vexing, but very helpful to take advantage of. If you are to change between contracts in a time span of a year or more, you normally get the benefit of a new subscriber being able to effectively save instead of simply renewing the old contract you had. Then we get to cluster 3, poor spending decisions. Think fast fashion brands instead of durable ones, which basically force your consumption into more pieces a year while they depreciate and damage much quicker. Or when you go to the pharmacy and go for a very famous brand, such as for paracetamol or ibuprofen, instead of own labels or simply sub-brands. Also here, the premium charge that you get is exactly the same as per clothing and groceries, so have a deeper look. Also, buy now, pay later expenses. Think about it. They show you no fees and simply breaking down the cost into separate installments, but mathematically 1 in 4 people misses a payment, and this triggers a very heavy fee of double-digit interest rates, often up to 21%. Lastly, the lazy vices. In here, we have pure detractors, drainers, bad for you, bad for your health, not helping you in any way, and easily substituted with something more healthy. Think alcohol, 15 euros, 20 euros per outing. Think cigarettes, 10 euros a package. And think Ubers. I understand sometimes it's very late and there is no other option. Perhaps transportation is off or you drank a little bit. I get it. But imagine racking up 15 to 20 euros of Ubers a week. That is already damaging to not only our health, cardiovascular, we could be walking instead, but also our wallet. So there it is. And statistically, let me tell you, if you're not falling for 7 out of these 15 vices or glitches or unwanted expenses, you are doing better than the median. I hope you only consider yourself 2 or 3 perhaps. That would already place you up top. But I also wanted to roll up the total numbers. The potential savings are 12,000 something a year. That is basically 1,000 a month. Or even if you don't have the worst vices and the car, that are obviously the biggest detractors, it is still 400 to 500 euros a month, and this is solid savings that could pay today towards a diversified global index fund with an average return, without even thinking about it, automated out of your bank account. This is honestly the biggest tip I can give you today. Audit your position, have a look at what can be actually scrapped or creatively replaced, such as dinners together and perhaps training at home. I made a couple of videos about it and I will link them down below. I hope this was helpful. I'll see you in the next session. European Wealth Lab out.